Alrighty, so I played at the Seattle Regional yesterday and did not do as well as I would have liked. Had some health issues kind of come up that made it so I couldn't stay for the entire thing, unfortunately. But I figured I'd show off my deck profile and everything, kind of go over how the tournament was, all that fun stuff. So let's just get right into it. If you cannot tell by this monster, we played Yubel. So first up, we got 3 Samsara D Lotus. It's a Slunfire Blossom for Yubel monsters, and it also is, while we control a Yubel monster, we can tribute her to change the effect of any monster to destroy one Yubel monster on the field. And then also, if we control the original Yubel at the end phase of our turn, this can special summon from grave. So it just kind of fixes everything, essentially. It fills a very nice role. Anytime I resolved this, it was really good. We also played 3 Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast actually did a lot of work. Like, sometimes he does lose to Droll. That sucks. But with how strong opening of the Spirit Gates is in this deck, Dark Beckoning Beast is actually, like, insanely strong, too. And also being able to put out 2 bodies off of one monster effect. One monster effect. We do a couple of things, but like being able to make a Link 2 or a Gin Buster is really strong. So yeah, no complaints from him. 3 Spirit of Yubel. This can't die in battle, takes no battle damage from battles involving it. On summon, it lets us add or set a Yubel spell trap from deck, and if it's destroyed, we can float into the original Yubel from hand, deck, grave, or banish. This card is incredibly good, 99% of the time. We also played 1 of each Yubel. I actually wanted a lot to have a second copy of Yubel. I just only have the 1. I basically picked these 2 up like last minute. Before the tournament started, so that was kind of close. I was borrowing a copy of Yubel from a friend, but I still needed to get an actual copy. So yeah. Terra Incarnate came up a few times. Unfortunately, because his effect can miss timing, he was a little harder to get into Ultimate Nightmare. Ultimate Nightmare did come up once, though, and that was pretty fun. Round 1 I played against Branded, and even when they like super polyed me for a Dragostapelia and they gave Loving Defender Forever a Predaplant counter, it still just didn't matter because it only prevents her from using her activated effects. The protection effects are still there. And yeah, no, like Yubel, all the Yubels did really good today. For hand traps, we had 3 Ghost Spell, because a lot of shit's coming out of the graveyard right now. Unfortunately, the only time I saw this, they had either Cross Out or Called by the Grave. In theory, it's really good. In practice, I don't know. 3 Ash. I don't think I actually saw Ash at all. I'll be honest. Yeah, I actually cited it out against a Snake Eye Fire King player. Just so that, like, I wouldn't... Because, like, it's not that strong against them, unfortunately. Especially compared to, like, Dimension Shifter. Yeah, Dimension Shifter was weird. It never came up where it was actually helpful. I think the only time it did was against Branded in Game 1. It basically made them do a lot of, like, suboptimal plays because all their stuff would get banished. But otherwise, like, in theory, this is a really strong card, and our deck's not that bothered by it, especially once we get Nightmare Throne, but right now, it just didn't seem that strong. And then also we have 3 Nibiru. I didn't summon Nibiru once. Multiple games I had it, and it just never came up. My opponent, either I had a board set up already, and I didn't want to use Nibiru, or they just never summoned enough for me to actually activate the effect. So, like, I think this would have been better in the side deck, or even, like, replaced with, like, Evenly Matched or something. Like, I feel like I could have used Evenly Matched more than Nibiru. On paper, Nibiru is incredible, for sure, but he just never came up for me, unfortunately. So yeah, that's D-Shifter. I will say the one good thing about him in the deck is that even if he's not good in a certain matchup, he's still a dark for Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain can destroy a dark on our hand or face of field to add a Yubel or Yubel related card from the deck. The opponent's monsters have to attack a Yubel monster I control if they're able to attack, and they take any battle damage that I would take. So one thing you might notice from the Yubel monsters is they all say you take no battle damage, but this says they take the battle damage. There's essentially this like flow chart essentially of how battle / damage effect changes work. And essentially this outranks the no battle damage. It's really weird. I can put a link to the ruling that I found. I even screenshotted and bookmarked it just in case someone tried to like call me out on it or something, because reading is hard, and it's even if you are like actually reading the cards, it is not entirely clear that this would trump the other effect if you aren't familiar with that thing. Like, I think double battle damage is actually like the highest tier thing. If I remember correctly, I'll double check, but yeah, there's like 10 different things on that list, and you essentially go with whichever one's highest in the order. We had 3 opening of the Spirit Gates. This card was insanely good. I didn't even realize that all 3 effects actually are live in this deck. So on activation, we get the Dark Beckoning Beast from deck. We go +2 off of a Dark Beckoning Beast. It's really strong. And then once a turn, you can discard a card and target a fiend with 0 attack, 0 defense engrave and special summon it. That's like all of the Yubel stuff. They're all 0 attack, 0 defense fiends. And then if you control level 10, which Yubel and Spirit of Yubel are level 10, you can just once a turn add a continuous spell from grave to hand. The only thing that is actually hard once per turn on this is the activation of the card itself. Each other effect is like once per copy, which is ridiculously good. Like, this card overperformed. Like, every time I won a game or was like able to actually come back into the game, it was like because of this. This card did so well. If I could run 4, I would. We also ran 3 Super Poly. Unfortunately, I only saw this like once, and it didn't matter, unfortunately. Maybe with more consistency in the deck, this would be more live. I do want to try and get Prosperity for the deck. I think that would definitely help. The extra deck definitely also needs to be like kind of rounded out a bit. But for now, we're kind of stuck here. But yeah, Super Poly on paper is insanely strong, especially in this deck. So whenever it did come up, it was usually pretty good. Actually, no, I saw it once against a Labyrinth. Unfortunately, they forced it out early. I had Spirit of Yubel in hand, and they made Chaos Angel and banished my Super Poly. Well, they tried to banish it, so I Super Poly'd the Chaos Angel and Lovely Labyrinth for a Garura. The last 3 spells is a 1-for-1, a Called by the Grave, and a Reasoning. Reasoning was thrown in last minute. One of my friends gave it to me. And initially I got it just because I wanted it for Infernoid, because it's a nice shiny secret rare. But I was like, wait, I can use this in Yubel, because like I have level 1, I have level 2, and I have level 10. And no one is going to call 10 if they don't know what I'm playing. Unfortunately, the one time I did see it, I saw it against Labyrinth, which was the last match I was there for. They sat there for like 2 minutes thinking about how they wanted to respond, and they're like, I don't know what you're on. Like, it was literally the first card I played. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't know what's going to come out of that, so I'm just going to Ash. It was so freaking good. 1-for-1, I misplayed with this a few times. I tried to play it under Shifter one game, and I realized as soon as I put it down, so I had to take it back, which kind of made things a little awkward. That's kind of the other issue with Shifter, is there are a couple of things between the main and the side that just kind of conflict with it. I'm thinking maybe like Dimensional Fissure or Macrocosmos might be better. Obviously they don't work going second, but going first, or even like different dimension ground might be better. Uh, just because that way it's less likely to conflict because I could just play this first. And I don't have to worry. Well, I don't know. I'll think about it. Called by the Grave, I never actually saw, unfortunately. I'm sure it would have been good had I seen it. 2, Eternal Favorite. So you only use one effect per copy, and each effect is a once per turn effect. So you can special one of your Yubel monsters that's banished or in grave, but no one can activate cards or effects when that monster is summoned. So that means if I summon Spirit of Yubel, I can't use the on-summon effect to add or set a Yubel spell trap, which kind of sucks, but I get why they did that. And then you can send, if you control a if you control Yubel. I might have misplayed this a couple times, but I dropped anyway, so it doesn't matter. If you control Yubel, you discard a card and send this face card to the grave, and you fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using materials from either side of the field, including a Yubel monster. So basically, this lets us Super Poly. It's 2 more copies of Super Poly. It's also a Reborn effect, which is really strong. I actually did find myself wanting a 3rd copy of Eternal Favorite and a 2nd copy of Yubel. So I think that might be what I try to go for moving forward. And then the last 3 traps were 3 Imperm. The total count on the main deck is 41. Reasoning was the 41st card. I didn't know what to take out, so I just played 41. I don't really think it hurt too much. Honestly, most of my game losses and like all my game losses were essentially due to my own misplays. So it's definitely a learning experience. I was still kind of getting comfortable with the deck, and it's exhausting sometimes. I kind of slept like shit the night before, so didn't do as good as I would have liked. But I started having some health problems coming up around halfway through round 3. I've got kind of blood sugar issues, so my blood sugar started crashing, and there wasn't enough time for me to go get actual food, because what snacks I brought I had already eaten, unfortunately, and I wasn't gonna be able to play through it, so that kind of sucked. They don't give us a lunch break, which also sucks, but it's whatever. For the extra deck, I played a copy of Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Garura, Starving Venom, and Dragonite Dracoaquist. My generic Super Poly targets. I didn't make these 2, so these maybe don't need to be here. I did make both of these like twice each, so those definitely come up. Then I had 2 copies of Yubel, Loving Defender Forever. Super glad I got these. I did pick up a 3rd, but it was after the tournament started, so the 3rd is definitely going in here. Funny enough, I actually, we'll get into that in a minute. This card is insane, though. So she can't die by battle or card effect, and I take no damage from battles involving her. When she's fusion summoned, you deal 500 for every material used to summon her. I was dealing on average 2,000 to 3,000 damage every time she hit the board, and then if she battles an opponent's monster, is it after damage calculation? At the end of the damage step, if she battled an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equals that opponent's monster's attack, and if you do, banish that monster. So yeah, she is non-targeting, non-destruction removal, and burn damage. She is really good. And then also, it's basically, with Nightmare Pain, you're dealing double damage to them, essentially. So if they have a 4,000 point monster out, and you just smack into it with this, you just kill them, and it's fantastic. For Ixies, I played one number 65 Ginbuster. He came up a couple of times. I don't know that he's the best thing, but he is decent. It's kind of his low attack stat kind of sucks, but if I have Yubel and Nightmare Pain out, they can't attack Ginbuster, which is really strong. We also played a copy of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Just a 3,000 body. He does 2,000 damage in time. He's really good. Number XX Utopic Dark Infinity. He's a 4,000 attack defense body. If he kills something in battle, you detach material and you special summon the destroyed monster in defense to your field. And then once a turn, you can target a face-up special summon monster you control, besides himself. and gain life equal to its original attack. Each affects a hard once per turn. He is mainly here because I needed a dark rank 10 for number 77 7 sins. This is Zeus at home. So basically, he can slap himself on top of a rank 10 or rank 11 Dark Xyz monster, and you transfer the materials. If he was summoned using that method, though, he can't activate his effect the turn he's summoned. You can attach 2 materials, banish all of your opponent's special monsters, and then attach 1 as material to him. And if he'd be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can attach 1 material instead. But funny enough, I actually did use 2 loving, I used 2 Loving Defender Forever and made 7 sins, which is that was a funny play. I did manage to trade for an actual Zeus though, so I can actually take out 7 sins. I can probably also take out Dark Infinity. I don't know if I want to because I do kind of like the 4,000 body. I'll have to see what space looks like. And then for Link monsters, we had a Relinquished Anima, a Link Karibo, a Muckcracker from the Underworld, a the Dark Charmer Gloomy, and Nightmare Unicorn. One of my match losses, I basically tried to make Muckcracker and discard Spirit of Yubel to summon the same Spirit of Yubel, but I realized she doesn't discard its cost. And I had, so I basically did that play, realized it wouldn't work how I wanted it to, but it was too late to backtrack, so I basically screwed myself over at that point, and I couldn't get to the board that I wanted to get to. So yeah, that kind of sucked, but again, like, all of my losses were just my own player error. It wasn't it wasn't anything that I couldn't have theoretically played through. It was just my own failure, essentially, as a player. Learning experiences. For side deck, we played 3 Droll. I sided this in a few times, but I don't think I ever actually drew it, which kind of sucks. 3 Herald of the Abyss. This was mainly for Pearly, because I don't know how the hell else to handle that matchup. I really just don't like playing against Pearly. That every time I've played against it at a regional, in like the past year, I have lost to it every single time. Even with this card in the deck, it's just like, I don't know how to deal with it. We played 3 Cosmic Cyclone. I don't think this needs to be explained. It's just really good right now. A lot of continuous spells and a lot of field spells that really want to stick on the field. Unfortunately, every time I had this, it wasn't relevant, which really sucked, because like they either just didn't have like the Fire King spells, or like the one time I did use it was on the Snake Eye field spell, and he just played through it anyway. So it's just like, I don't know. Triple Tech, this should have been the main deck over Nibiru, I think. I kind of wish this was in the main over Nibiru. It might have helped a bit more. It's hard to say, obviously, but Nibiru just kind of felt like a dead card all the time, which really sucked. And the last 3 cards were Ice Dragon's Prison. I also got these pretty much last minute, but in theory, they're really good. It's just, again, they never showed up when I needed them to, which made it kind of hard. Like, I got them like after they would have been useful, so it's just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, that is the deck. The matches that I played were, round 1 was against Branded. Honestly, Branded was a very manageable matchup. Like, it was a pretty swift 2-0. Game 2, he actually dropped Majesty's Fiend on me. Had he dropped... Alright, sorry about that. My recording cut out. So we played against Branded in Game 1. It was a very quick 2-0. Definitely happy how that turned out. Game 2, or round 2, my opponent was playing Snake Eye Fire King. And Game 1, he actually, he opened 5 hand traps, and he drew like 2 or 3 more in a row. And I had plays. He kept stopping Nightmare Pain from resolving with Ash, but eventually he just didn't have it anymore. And I was able to just go full gas. By the time he started getting set up, I had full control of the board. But I misplayed games 2 and 3, and that's entirely on me. Round 3 was against Labyrinth, and I did not expect to play against Labyrinth at all. I don't know how to play against Labyrinth. Like, they do a lot more than I thought they would. Um, so yeah, just constantly like sniping my stuff before I can get set up was really difficult. Um, and also the field spell being able to bring back any fiend. They brought back fucking Chaos Angel. They put me to 100 life, in game 3, and I, I almost got it to where I could attack and do lethal to him with 2 U-Bells. Unfortunately, time was called before I could actually get set up and get into the battle phase. Like, I was like 1 card away. That's one of those matches that I actually wish I had the second U-Bell. Just because like, just being able to float off of Spirit of U-Bell more often is just super important, I think. At least right now. So yeah, that is going to do it for the deck profile and sort of tournament report. And essentially, I'm kind of going to wrap up the Playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Properly Season 1, essentially. I think moving forward will be in Season 2, but it's probably going to be a bit of a break, because the only real significant thing I can go for at this point is going to be Legacy of Destruction. I need to get Nightmare Throne and Infernal Grave Squirmer. And I just have to hope that those aren't, secret rares or anything like that, because I will probably do an updated deck profile in a week or two, just to kind of, because I did get a third of the Yubel Fusion. I did get a copy of like Zeus and Zealantis, which might be useful. I can kind of trim down some stuff, and it's really just gonna be like sort of fine tuning the list. Like, I'm not liking Nibiru in the main deck. Most of the decks that I would want to use it against either can play under it or they can play through it. That's like the main thing. I need more sort of practical answers to things, and Nibiru is not it, unfortunately. I might dip back into like Maze of Millennia for Triple Tactics Thrust. Thrust would be really good to get if possible. SP Little Knight would be good to get too, but again, I don't think I can get Aegis Overlord. Because like, if I don't get an SP Little Knight, then like the entire box is just a waste. And there's, well, I mean, I guess there are some other things in the set that are worth it. I'll think about it. So yeah. Alternatively, I was also considering trying out a Fire King build with Yubel, leading up to Legacy of Destruction, because Fire King Island can trigger Yubel and Spirit of Yubel in hand, which is really good. Just having sort of extra bodies, extra removal, that sort of stuff, extra ways to trigger my own effects. That seems really good. I just don't know what the balance should look like between Fire King cards and Yubel cards. Because the Yubel stuff doesn't really do anything with Fire Kings, but the Fire Kings can do a lot with Yubel, so it's sort of a weird, like, half dynamic, I guess, because, like, it works together one way, but the other way does not work, if that makes sense at all. It would also definitely make the extra deck a little bit more difficult to manage, because of the fact that I would be able to make, like, rank 8 Xyz. That just makes Zeus live more often, though, so I don't know. Yeah, again, I'll have to think about it. I was talking about it yesterday as well, and it's weird. I traded my Soul of Yama, the Unchained link, so the Unchained package probably is off the table now. One of my friends had a friend at the tournament that's trying to build Unchained. He's like a broke high school student. I totally relate. So I traded a Zeus off of him. So I got the Zeus and the Zealantis for the Soul of Yama. So I feel like that's a good trade for both parties because he wants to actually build a deck, and I'm just doing a fun challenge. So I can make that trade. It's not really an issue. I wasn't really a fan of the Unchained stuff in the deck anyway. So we'll figure it out. Yeah, that's gonna do it for season 1 of playing Yu-Gi-Oh properly. I hope to see y'all in season 2. Whether I start from scratch again or I continue with this, maybe dip back into Earthbound, see if I can get that to work how I want it to with some future support. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm probably not going to be doing anything with it though until April, just because I'm sort of tapped out right now, and again, there's not really any sets that I can reasonably get that would actually benefit me. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Or don't, Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more, because that really does keep me going. Like, if I wasn't like actively getting support, I don't know that I'd have the motivation to continue. So it really does mean a lot. And yeah, I look forward to seeing y'all later. Bye bye.